Hey, Marvel Strike Force. Let's talk U32 recap real quick. I think this is important. I wouldn't normally go back and do this, but with these three rooms being part of the Season 14, I think the information is pretty valuable. So let's go take a look at how everyone fared, what they had in offense and defense, what was working, what wasn't. Can we repeat any of it in the new season? As you can see, I went 4-1. I lost one round, and it was my fault. Um, I think I'm middle of Masters 2 right. I'm in Masters 2 right now, right at the edge. Um, let's go into round one. Round one, he had S6 with Ares on defense. That was a content creator room from the showcase. I took Starjammers into it, had no problem. He had Liberty in the Toxic room. I took Immortal into it, had no problem. Um, and I think this is good information to know because it tells you not to put these kind of defenses in these rooms next season. We had Illuminati Odin with Black Knight. This was the toughest room 3 that we've known about. This is going to be room 4 in season 14. Just took Phoenix Force in there. I didn't even take a normal Phoenix Force. I put Gladiator in there. Did this exact same thing, got down to Odin, then came in with a cleanup team. I was using Night Stalkers because it was a 3-man Crucible, and that team just kind of deletes stuff. Let's go look at defense. Round 1 defense. I had, for room 1, which was the, can't remember the room, the Glass Cannon room. Glass Cannon. On defense, I had my Illuminati Odin here. I learned that Black Bolt doesn't work correctly. He's not giving his passive health to Britain and Hank and Shuri after he dies. He was only giving it to one member. So that was bad. So I kind of got off that strategy pretty quickly. I did pick up a win against the Mephisto comp, which I thought was interesting, and a lot of it came down to running strikers felt worse for the most part in this room. The characters died faster and did less damage than if they were just raiders. And you see this with this Astral team. I wish I could show you replays, but they took them away before I got to record, so sorry. But this Astral team, as you can see, all the strikers died, and the only ones left alive were the raiders. If this team would have just been normal ISOs, it would have walked over the 2-man left over. That's round 1. Round 2, we started to see the Thanos pop up in room 1. This guy ran Liberty Thanos. I tried to take Starjammers into it. I learned very quickly that this doesn't work. I thought that Lilandra would degrade the death proofs off and we'd be fine, but what ended up happening is she degraded all but one death proof off. So Thanos was safe. And because of that, I don't think we can run Starjammers into 1 ever if Thanos exists. And so that's good to know. And so Thanos got to ult me twice because he went back to full health. He did again in the second room, and that's why half my Astral's dead. And as you can see, all my Strikers died because he degrades all their death proofs off and just kind of pops off and goes to town. So not ideal in that room. So that's good Glass Cannon news to know. Room 2, they had that Toxic room. They had the Retaliate team. Immortal went in there and just kind of wiped the floor with them. It's just not unless Immortal has a better target, you can't put this kind of stuff in Toxic. It just doesn't do anything. Room 3, at that point was still attacking Odin Illuminatis. Went in there with the exact same thing I did in round 1. The Phoenix Force, Old Man Logan, took Gladiator and Echo. Got down to, this time I only got down to Hank and Odin. Didn't matter. I came back in with this Night Stalkers team, wiped the floor with it. That was perfectly fine. On defense, I'm not sure I had changed stuff yet. Did I show you room 3 on defense in room 1? I don't think I did. I think we got sidetracked. Oh, okay. I did not. So back to round 1 on defense. I had a weird team in defense, and I ran the entire Crucible. This was my Toxic room. Well, first off, this guy made a mistake. Don't break up your Illuminati. Even just put Null in there. It doesn't matter. I was running Apocalypse, Null, Black Knight, Mephisto, Gore. And the reason I'm doing this is APOC blocks the speed drop from trying to stop Null. Black Knight cleaves your face in. Mephisto, even if you block him, still goes super fast and puts all kinds of yucky stuff on you. And Gore goes fast. So this team kind of just deletes you. It makes you have to really play against some counters, and it's what it did the entire time. Then he took in a real team, which Annihilator, Super Scroll, and Null. Again, lost. He tried taking Starjammers into it after a sack. Again, lost. And then he took Night Stalkers in there and finally got it done. Room 3, this was one of my favorite rooms of the season. I had Cabal with Dormammu and Thanos in there, and Immortal lost to it, and then he went in there and basically mirror matched it with Cabal after I had already taken a sack. So he had Dorm up and Kang. Kang was a really bad choice because that made his team go first, which is not good when this team doesn't take damage until I take a turn. So I don't know why you took Kang, but that's okay. Let's go right back to the results for 2. We went through this one, we went through that one, we went through this. Let's go look at defense. So defense in round 1, I had switched up from Black Bolt to Medusa. I thought that maybe her being a pre-taunt would be better. I ended up getting walked over by something pretty simple. I got walked over by Mephisto, Old Man Logan, and S6 members that aren't even G19. I felt really bad about that one, so I think at that point I took Illuminati out of here, but let's keep going. We'll get to the next round. Again, same round. I had that same team in round 2. You know, that huge hodgepodge of stuff. I got double sacked, and then he took Phoenix Force, APOC in there with Null. So he shut down the Mephisto by double sacking, and then he went in there with his own Null. He went in with Phoenix Force, which stopped Safeguard, and APOC, Phoenix Force APOC, and got it done that way. And he took Patriot in there for more damage. So that got it done. I think that was a lot overkill, especially with the double sack and not trying. That was interesting. Round 3, again, I was running this Cabal team in 3, and it beat Astral, it beat Immortal, and then it finally fell over to a Kahori team after double sack. I'm not certain if this team would have won with the double sack because it wasn't clean. So, and no cooldowns up at that point. It is what it is. Round 3, let's go take a look at round 3. Round 3, we had, on offense, I had to verse an Orcus, Thanos, Scroll room, and I hadn't quite figured out how to deal with Thanos yet. As you see in the later rounds, I figured it out. Here I was trying to figure it out. I had switched Britain to offense, so I was running Britain Medusa to stop the speed from Scroll and to stop the safeguards from Thanos, and then I came in with 3 Night Stalkers. That didn't quite work because I didn't account for the taunt from the Sentinel. So what ended up happening is Blade came in there, ulted, and took Thanos to 1 HP, and Thanos ulted my face in. Left him with like 10 HP. So then I got more creative, and I went in there with... I took out the Oath and put in Agatha, or left Agatha in. I could have done either one. I think Oath would have done it too. And I brought in Kestrel. That stopped the Sentinel. I stopped the other mechanics with Britain and Medusa. Got her done easy. So that, with things like this, we have to be very careful in this room because that's super efficient. So, things like that. Now, I did break up a lot of teams to do that. Will we do that in the Season 14? I'm not sure yet. But things like that existing makes Glass Cannon kind of a detriment room too. So we have to kind of figure out ways to solve this problem where they don't get 2024 for just bringing in the right counter characters. This team was in the Toxic room. As you can see, it was full Night Stalkers with Nightcrawler, and it didn't do great. It was a slight punch up, which is not surprising because this is the new team, and it got a 13-22. So that's good to note. The fact that Night Stalkers did this to this team, we want to shut down this team. This team, we just don't want to do things. And with it requiring 5, it's not that hard. So we'll talk more about that in the next season. Let's keep going. So we came in here, and I tried not bringing a pre-taunt and bringing Old Man Logan and Echo. I felt like super strained on what characters I could bring, and it didn't work out. But then I went in and I took Old Man Logan out and just tanked the Odin ult, and I was able to get it done with Sasquatch. Now, as you can see, this was super not clean. My Odin was barely alive. It was a G20 versus G20. it became down to a crit fest. But that being said, I was okay with this. I just wanted to get down to Odin because, as you'd seen in the previous matches, if I got down to Odin, it was fine. I won the match. I was able to then come in there with a cleanup team. Odin didn't take a turn, and we got it done. So, that being said, I'm not sure that I'm that sold on this team being the Room 4 team next season. I'm kind of considering either breaking them up or using them in other rooms or doing some different things. Let's keep going. Let's go look at my defense. At this point, I had switched up my defense. I had brought Thanos over to Room 1. I had brought Super Skrull in. I was using Guardian, and I was using Omega and Green Goblin. Now, this was a lot of pieces, because I took from almost like 4 different teams here. But lots of pinging damage. You got a speed mechanic you got to deal with. It's got offense up. And the whole point was just to kind of hurt people. Worst case, I figured I'd hurt you if you did it efficiently. As you can see, it's completely shut down Starjammers, but they probably found out the same thing I did with it. Thanos doesn't lose all his buffs. Then he came in here with like a Kahori Shadow King Dorm team with Medusa, and probably ran it over. 1822. That's pretty good for him. Here's room 2 again with Toxic Room. I didn't change this room the entire season. He came in with Emma, who tried to stop the Null, which didn't work. He brought in Gladiator, he brought in Kang, Ultimus, Mephisto, and lost in my health. My characters are still over 50%. He then tried a full Liberty team, combat canceled, tried full Liberty again. As you can see, my character's health bars didn't move. Then came in with a Mortal after 4 attacks and finally got it done. I don't think the Mortal would have worked if he tried this on turn 1. Or I think he had to turn off the Mephisto first before he could do that. So that's good to know. Room 3. This was the cleanest room that I saw go into this room. And at this point, I had taken out Thanos and put in Gladiator because I thought Thanos was more important in Room 1. He came in with Phoenix Force, Old Man Logan, Apocalypse, and Ares. Now, I don't know why he brought Ares and Apocalypse because they do the same thing, but they're both slow, so maybe it was okay. It looks like everybody died except for, I think it was Dark Phoenix, Old Man Logan, and Omega Red Up, is what I remember. So, as you can see, it was super not efficient, even for a one-shot. So, this team's on my radar. Let's keep going. Stage 4. This is where we took an L. I came in here. I finally figured out how to deal with the Thanos team in the glass cannon room. I started using, in this one, I think I used Ares. I used Howard the Duck to stop the speed, and I used Kahori and Shadow King to kind of just target who I wanted. So that allowed me to do what I wanted. I also brought in Ultimus, but if I remember right, he didn't do much because I got through the Gladiator with Kahori, so that was kind of a dead character. I could have probably done that more efficiently. Room 2 was he had Night Stalkers with a Preton. It wasn't bad because it made it so I had to go through 2 tanks before I could get to these other characters. I thought it was interesting. As you can see, I took in 4-piece Starjammers with Emma. I thought, stopping the speed was a pretty good idea, but because I used Howard the Duck in the other room, and that was the reason I did it. I wanted Howard the Duck in the other room because I didn't want to use Britain and Kahori together because Britain stopped Kahori, so that was my thought process. Was it good? No, not really. It got a horrible efficiency, and that's kind of been the whole story of Starjammers. They either lose or get a horrible efficiency across the board. Room 3. Room 3, this is where I lost. I was trying things. I thought Shuri would work, and it didn't. She did not block all of the assists on turn 1, and I learned quickly that just didn't work. I thought she'd be better than Echo because she has that assist stopping chance, but she doesn't get her charge until after everybody else, is what I learned. So she didn't function properly. Then I came back in here with my Echo. I had a really bad RNG and couldn't get it done. I was definitely probably tilted at that point. I think I tried this team again. couldn't get it done. I was testing at this point. I felt like I had already lost the round. Then I came back in with the Echo man thing, or the Echo and Sasquatch again. I took the L, which was fine. This team is probably like 60% acceptable right now. If you kill Britain and Null, it's keepable, 100%. So, I mean, this team does not have to do amazing. It tanks Odin, takes Britain and Null, and then it can come clean up, which is exactly what I did. Came in and cleaned it up. And I was learning, this is, I think, the second time I saw this team and was trying to figure out how to do it. This was the first time they had 4 red, so it was some learning experience. Let's go to defense. Let's go round 1. And round 1, I was playing round 2. So I was not running Odin Illuminati at all, or Odin Null Illuminati, or any of that stuff on defense. So it made me get Phoenix Forced in areas that I probably was not happy with, but it is what it is. As you can see, I was still running that Super Scroll Thanos room, and he took in Cabal plus Old Man Logan and Apocalypse and got it done. Overall, that was pretty clean. It wasn't great on the healthy characters part, but it got great turn bonus. And I'm pretty sure that's just because Thanos AoE'd their face in. So, he cleaned this up pretty efficiently. He took in Liberty as a sack team, hit them with everything they got. They were very good size. Actually, they weren't that good size. They were pretty average. Then came in with his Star Jammers and got it done. And used Star Jammers as the second tap, which makes a lot of sense because it turns Mephisto off. You probably already made Null use his abilities. You probably already made APOC use his abilities. So it makes a lot of sense of what he pulled there and why that worked as well as it did. So kudos to him. He was the one that figured out how to beat this room efficiently. And then room 3, because I didn't run Odin Illuminati, he still had Phoenix Force, he still had Mephisto. This guy ran a lot of offense. And he came in 2021, my team, but he brought in Phoenix Force, he brought in Black Knight, he brought in Mephisto, he brought in Nightcrawler. He brought in so much to beat that. And I don't think that a counter like that is going to exist in Season 14. So, food for thought. And then we had one more round. This was my last round. This is the one I won. Came in here, and I attacked into Thanos, Mephisto, a Super Scroll, Kahori Gladiator. I played it super slow. And I instead of AoEing like crazy and doing the Lander thing, I instead was super careful. I tried to kill off all of the other pieces except for Thanos, and then I finally Lander ulted. As you can see, I still lost people, but it was cleaner. So I think this team can go into Thanos, but it's tough. It's very not clean. He had Orcus with Emma in the Toxic room. Again, came in there with that Immortal team, wiped the floor with it. And it's really going to come down to when we think about the... and then here we go again. I wanted to test how bad Illuminati or Starjammers were in the room 4 with the Null. This guy had the G20 Null, so I was very curious. And I went in there, and it was a complete wreck. So I tried that, wanted to see how it went. It went terrible. I tried this team again went terrible, so I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what Liberty did in this room, just out of curiosity, and it went terrible. So I probably could have kept this attack, but I chose not to because I wanted to test. I went in there with that attack one more time, got it down to just Odin again, and took the L, and then came in there and cleaned it up. And I did a lot of that on purpose. I probably could have just kept it at this attack. Kept this attack, came in there, cleaned it with this. That's just the nature of the beast. And every time I was using that Odin Phoenix Force. I think there's a cleaner version that doesn't use Phoenix Force. I think it's like Odin, APOC, and Old Man Logan, Echo, Pretaunt. I think that would probably clean this room in one shot. I haven't gotten to test it because you saw I had those pieces on defense, but that's kind of my thought process right now. And I'm kind of thinking that Odin's an offensive character this season. Let's go into defense. Still running that same like retaliate crazy room. He took in Phoenix Force, Old Man Logan, APOC, Black Knight. Almost lost. Um, and if he didn't lose, he got the worst efficiency ever. So good to know. I think that's a big thing. Again, someone tried to Starjammers my room too. He got close, but it didn't work out well for him. You know, we still had Mephisto alive, we still had Null alive, we still had APOC alive. He came in then Immortal and cleaned it up. That's fine. Um, Back to room 3. This has been the star of the show. You know, he tried to come in here with a Shadow King Cabal comp. Couldn't get it done. Again, brought King, probably a mistake. Came in there with full Night Stalkers. Couldn't get it done. Came in here with full Sinister 6 and couldn't get it done. Finally started to kill some people. And then came in here with like a Nightcrawler hodgepodge mess because I think he was out of characters at that point, and finally got the kill after 4 deaths. So I think there's some merit to looking into what Room 4 actually is, and I'm not certain it's going to be Illuminati Null or Illuminati Odin Null or whatever you want to call it. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys like the recap? Do you like seeing what how the attacks went? Hopefully this gives you some great information as you decide your defenses for next season. I did for me. And stay tuned. I'm going to have those videos out for Season 14's defense probably in the next day or two. Look forward to it. If you like these kind of videos, come thumbs up, come subscribe, come tell me what you think. And we'll see you next time.